Ha! Still getting used to that short intro.
Yeah, I keep waiting for the pages to start falling and Marvel to come up.
I was going to say no longer like the 35-minute lead-ins I could be late for.
That's right. And believe it or not, everyone, I know this is a first, but John was actually very early tonight. He didn't wait till 2 seconds before we went live. Welcome, everybody. I see we have 2 whole viewers.
Woo!
Hey,
Yep. Tonight
start
is
small, build
Yeah,
up.
the most important ones are here. Thank you.
That's right.
Tonight we are doing one of my infamous round robin conversations. That it would be great. And there I go yelling again. Sorry.
Yeah, I may do some of that myself because of I got a couple of inoculations today, so I'm starting to droop. So
A
yeah.
little lethargic.
Well, my immune system is going.
So we're going to do one of
gives you,
one of my infamous round robin discussions. These are always super popular. Hey, Pops, you're welcome to join too. We're going to do round robin tonight. Debate. I know how much you like to debate. And these are great questions.
Okay, here we go.
We're going to answer all the most important, hard-hitting questions of the day.
We're going to solve the world's problems tonight.
We are. So John has never played. So here's how it goes. I ask a question, and then everybody has to give an answer of some sort, their opinion. And then it ends up with me, and I'll give mine, and then we move on to the next one. And nothing gets solved. Okay.
These are always so strange. But they're fun. They're fun.
That's right. Question number 1 for the night. Is it better to have a superpower or be super rich? Rob, you're up.
Well, I think it's probably better to be super rich because then you can buy yourself a superpower. So you can have both.
That's right. John.
So do we get to define what superpower it is? So are we like rolling the dice? Like I get a superpower, like which could be invisibility, or it could be like the most horrific sneezes known to man, or be rich. Like, do we get to choose what the superpower is?
No, you just get to say whether you want a superpower or be super rich.
Okay, I'll go super rich then, because like Rob was saying, then if you're super rich, then you can be like Batman and
exactly. You could be Batman or Tony Stark.
You and Tony Stark. You got that Tony Stark fetish going on. I saw you bobblehead. Yeah.
She is a huge Tony Stark Iron Man fan. I mean,
I love it.
I play to it a little bit because my favorite's Cap, so Captain America. So yeah, but
all right,
but Iron Man's number 2. So
yeah. Well, I'm going to go with super rich, and here's why. It seems like when you're a superhero, you can do good in small areas. I mean, obviously there are going to be those storylines where you're saving the world.
Yeah, world-changing, cosmos-changing stuff. Yeah.
You can't have a world-changing event every time, right?
Well, that's Marvel's marketing department. They need to hear that.
Yes, because it just becomes, oh yeah, the world's going to end.
Yeah, they're going to say this again.
Yes, so I would rather be super rich because I think my reach would be greater. I could do more. For instance, there's a certain tech guru who has just reached trillionaire status. Think of what you could do with $1 trillion to the world. I mean, think of all the good you could accomplish with $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing about that trillion is there isn't real dollars. It's probably assets.
It's all in paper. Yeah,
it's not cash.
But even so, I mean, the amount that you would have of cash on hand would just be phenomenal, and the influence. I think that would be so much more impactful than being able to stop a speeding train. Even though you could probably save some people, you could probably save more people it goes down to the old the good of the many outweighs the good of the few type of philosophy.
Now, if I knew it was going to be flying, it'd be tough. If I knew it was going to be flying, because I've always wanted to fly. I mean, just lean into the wind and take off.
Well, I've always wanted to teleport, but I'd probably reach into the bucket and pull it out super farter. It's just
yeah, or be bouncing boy or something.
Yes, bouncing boy. That one.
It's the most useless superpower ever.
Oh, like speedball. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That was a really horrendous superpower, and yeah, we're less than about that, the better. All right.
Any of our viewers want to comment? So
you could feel free to jump on
in.
Anytime.
Anyone? Bueller?
Jump in anytime.
Okay, next one. Would the Flash be more useful as a delivery person than a superhero?
That's a good question.
Depends on what he's delivering, I suppose. I mean, if he's delivering transplant organs.
Oh, yeah. Very, very important.
But a pizza? No.
And if he's delivering, you have to think about like the speed and the wind and how much the food's going to cool off.
Well, if you put it in a container,
or the friction could heat it up too, for that matter. If he's running that fast, could burn the box up.
Yep.
Does Jimmy John's really need the Flash?
Again, I think it depends on what he would be delivering. If it was super important stuff, maybe.
I don't know. I'll go with hero. Because he's got his rogues gallery. Okay, so like the Flash has been able to beat the rogues gallery time and time again. But even if you put together like Domino's the Noid and Jimmy John and like whatever delivery mascots are out there, I don't think they could take down the rogue. So therefore, we need the Flash.
I would agree. We need the Flash.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a toss-up, but I'd have to. It leans a little more to hero for me.
Now, if I was bouncing boy,
well, that's going to be our. I had to say that, didn't I? That's going to be our theme tonight.
That's right. I would definitely go for a delivery. That would be probably. All right. Did Batman create the Joker by being an overly dramatic vigilante, or would Gotham's weirdness have produced him anyway?
Depends on whether you're going with the movie versions or the comic. Well, wow. In both cases, I mean, there have been different versions in both the movies and in the comics. I'm thinking of the one where he gets knocked into the vat when he's committing a crime by Batman. He's
when he was Jack Napier, Batman 98.
Yeah, and he gets knocked into the vat of nasty fluids. Yeah, Batman essentially created him in that case, indirectly. I mean, he was a bad guy and was going to be
always going to be a bad guy.
He was always going to be a bad guy, but that pushed him over the edge into super villain territory
and madness.
So yeah, so I would say, especially in that case, that's true. In the
psychological sense.
Yeah, in the Heath Ledger version, I definitely think it was Batman's persona that pushed him over into supervillainous, because he was nuts to begin with, but his Joker is a direct reaction to Batman and his appearance on the scene. So in those two cases, definitely. Some other cases, not so much, but Of those, I'm going to use those two instances where, yeah, Batman created him, either indirectly or directly.
John?
So, I guess I have to go on record now in the shame of it all. I've not seen the Heath Ledger one yet. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
You're
I
in
started
for a
watching
treat, my
Batman
friend.
Begins, and I was bored to tears. And then I just never kept up with the trilogy. So I've not watched.
You didn't like the first one?
I stopped it like halfway. I was like, "Where's the suit?"
Well, if you at least have to watch the one with Heath Ledger because he did a phenomenal Joker.
Gosh, who's in the third one?
I mean, he threw himself into that role. I mean, like literally, people were like, "Wow, this guy's weird," because he would just live the role.
Yeah, and I've only heard amazing things. I've got the Blu-ray. I'll watch it eventually. But definitely, I agree with Rob about when Napier was dropped into the vat of goo. In the Batman movie from '89. And if we're talking comics, it depends on what iteration. But the one drawn by Brian Bolland, Batman Killing Joke, the Red Hood, wound up being the Joker directly because of Batman's interference. So in that iteration of the comic, there's definitely the direct connection, because he was not even a hardened criminal at that point. He was a stooge for like the criminals that said, now you're going to wear this. And he was on his like maiden adventure doing that stuff. So that one was actually kind of sad, in a sense. So I would say that definitely he had a hand in the creation.
My opinion, I do believe that is correct. I think that Joker, before he took on the mantle of Joker, would have been your run-of-the-mill psychopath, serial killer, that the FBI or any other criminal investigative unit could have tackled. But when Batman came on the scene, it was not only an inspiration, but an irritation to him to see somebody so flagrantly putting himself out there as a superhero. And I think we all know that psychopaths have quite the ego. And I think he said to himself, if this guy can be over the top, why can't I? So let me ramp it up to the nth degree and throw away all the caution that would normally keep me under the radar. And let me just see if I can outdo this goody two-shoes. So I think he would have been less, well, in fact, the question said, just by being overly dramatic vigilante, I think that would have pushed Joker into greater heights of madness.
And if you take a look, at crimes, you always seem to have copycats. And so basically that would essentially be very similar. He'd be doing it, but on the opposite side. And, being the over the top for bad rather than good.
And any type of coverage, which obviously a character like the Joker, who is like way over the top, is going to get coverage. And the more coverage he gets, the more it strokes his ego. The more his ego is stroked, the more he goes over the top. It's just a vicious cycle.
Narcissistic psychopath.
I think so. All right. Now here's a very, very important question. I want you to think long and hard about this. Give me your honest opinion. Is cereal a soup? Audience, you can participate. Is cereal a soup? Do you think it's a soup or not?
You want my answer?
Yes, you're first up.
Yes, it is a soup.
And your reasoning would
liquid. It's liquid. And I mean, even vichyssoise is cold, so it's cold milk. And for that matter, oatmeal is considered a cereal, so kinda. But yeah, cereal and milk. Yeah, that's a soup. It's a liquid with other edible ingredients put in it, and just because it's for breakfast, it's still a soup, as far as I'm concerned.
Them's fighting words, John.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no. First of all, ew. A soup I would think would be something more along the lines that would have either a vegetable or beef or chicken type of stock to it. That would be the base, which the cereal wouldn't have. Of course, you would have the extra ingredients. You could even have things like barley, rice in a soup, which of course a lot of the cereals are derived from themselves. But that base being not the vegetable or livestock stock, I think would preclude it from soupism.
Soupism. I love it. All right. Well, I had the answer for you. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the authority on defining things, points out that while it qualifies as a liquid food when eaten with milk, and it does contain pieces of solid food, it does not contain meat, fish, or vegetable stock, which is the definition of soup.
Wow, look at me. Big brain on John.
Yeah, according to Oxford's Learner's Dictionaries, a soup is a liquid food made by boiling meat, vegetables, etc. in water, often eaten as the first course of a meal.
So I would have to say no.
Okay.
Even though there is grains and like the oatmeal stew, it does not.
Well, you put you can put raisins and fruit in it too, but these are all. It sounds like soup is more savory.
Yes.
Apparently, by definition, than say cereal.
It has to have a stock.
Cereal's grain is usually grain and that sort of thing. So yeah, I could agree with that.
It has to contain
just for orneriness, I'm going to say no. Cereal in milk is a soup because it's got edible ingredients in a
liquid.
It can be soupy.
It needs to have a meat, fish, or vegetable stock.
It's soup-like.
It's soup and gentle.
All right.
I guess you would say, there's the old saying about soup and sandwich. I can't imagine eating a sandwich with cereal.
Toast?
Okay. Silly, stupid remark.
Toast and jam with cereal? I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Important burning question for all of comicdom. Shouldn't Hawkeye and Green Arrow be constantly running out of arrows?
Yes. Unless they're in D&D and have a bag of holding on their back.
Unless they have
D&D knows what I'm talking about.
Unless they have
it's like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
I was thinking pocket dimension.
An unlimited supply. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, it's very similar to that.
I was thinking Loki's pocket dimension. But we know that that's not true. So,
but with Hawkeye being an Avenger and Hank Pym being an Avenger, and we have Pym particles, how do we know that he doesn't just have myriad, endless supply of miniaturized arrows that could be
pops them into existence?
So Green Arrow, he's SOL.
The drawback, the Atom could do it for him. The drawback to that is that I know, at least with Pym particles, it still has the same
weight,
mass and weight. So you can only carry so many of those without really debilitating yourself.
Well, at least with the arrows, though, if they're titanium or a lighter weight metal, they're not
or fiberglass or something else.
But how come in the movie then that he shrinks down his house and he picks it up and carries it off?
Yeah, it's contradictory, isn't it? Or it picks
or the course,
a whole building they shrink down. We carry.
What was this?
But
In the movies,
yeah,
they shrink down a whole building and then they just put it in their suitcase and walk off with it.
What movie?
Yeah, it's inconsistent.
Ant-Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, the second one. The second one especially, they shrink down a big building.
Okay.
Cars.
But yeah, it's inconsistent, and they have cars. Yeah, it has a tank on a chain, doesn't he, in his pocket?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
at one point. Yeah,
If
I mean,
it
that
retains
tank's
its
got to weigh tons.
if it retains its original mass.
Yeah, but the whole thing about him running on the gun and then hitting somebody, that's supposed to be because he still has the strength and mass of a full grown person. But
very contradictory.
it's one of those hand waves that you do when you read comics. You've got one completely outrageous thing. You just go, okay, I'll accept that to help me get through the story.
Suspension.
I call those hand waves. Yeah, okay.
Okay, John.
Yes.
Why shouldn't Hawkeye and Green Arrow be constantly running out of arrows? I mean, their quivers are only really about like this big around, right?
Yes. Yeah, unless there's something written specifically, kind of like that Pym thing I threw out, as a to get around it. But no, in reality, yes. I mean, those are finite resources, and you've only got so much. It's not like it's plasma or energy that could be siphoned some way or another. It's a stick with, So I agree. They should be running out.
I totally agree. And when I see the movies, and he's constantly like pulling out arrow after arrow after arrow after arrow, I'm like, all right, shouldn't he be running out? And then just about the time I'm thinking, well, this is really way, way too ridiculous. And then I see him do run out of arrows. And then he runs and picks. And he runs around and picks up the ones that he's already shot.
Mm-hmm.
But you would think that would be kind of a very much of a drawback. He would be definitely the weak link in the team because he could only go for a certain period of time, and then not much use.
That opens up a something for a writer to actually play with. In that, once he does run out of arrows, how does he improvise? Something else to shoot. Does he use what does he look for around him to substitute for not having any more arrows? What other skills does he have to use once he's out of arrows? So that's something a writer could really play with. So
I don't know
he should
about
run out.
I don't know about Green Arrow, but Hawkeye has got like perfect aim with everything. In fact, I don't know if any of you watched the Hawkeye miniseries on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they did.
I have
but he
not.
turned the TV on by flicking a button or something, or a bottle cap or something at the TV and hitting the button across the room.
And when I saw that reminded me a lot of Bullseye.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a very Bullseye thing to do.
So he's got like perfect aim. So he could technically use.
That's a superpower.
Get a slingshot, like couple it with a slingshot. I mean, to use whatever's around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could throw rocks. He could, he could do a bunch of different stuff.
He wouldn't be able to do it over long distance like with the arrows, but still he wouldn't be completely helpless. Right. I don't know enough about the Green Arrow to talk about.
Should be about the same, but the emphasis with him was always trick arrows. Not, and somewhat with Hawkeye as well. But I mean, he really concentrated on the trick arrows. But he also did a lot of hand-to-hand combat. So he and Black Canary, especially when they were partnered up. I don't know enough about when Speedy was his partner to speak to that, but I know when Black Canary was his partner, he would use that, but he would also get into hand-to-hand. So, but they'd run out. Both of them, both the characters would.
Yeah, that's kind of
it's silly that if they
silly superpower. Yeah, when you think about it. All right, here's a conundrum for you.
Uh-oh.
Is it better to have a superpower that only works once a year, or a mediocre power that works every day? Rob, you're up.
Wow. Okay, let me consider this for a moment, because there's advantages and disadvantages just to both. It would be a good story point if you only have the power once a year and you have to plan how you're going to use it when the time comes up.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a problem? It's like, oh, damn, I missed that big melee by a day. I could have really helped out, but I only have it one day a year.
Now, of course, it depends on what that is. If it's like Reed Richards, which part of his superpower is his brain, as far as I'm concerned. If it's
so you can only use your brain once a year.
You can only use that over the top part of your brain to put together, some sort of weaponry or some sort of whatever, to put together a plan of some sort, and then write it down and execute it for the rest of the year. That's how I could see it working. Again, that's a great. That would be a great idea for a writer to take and run with. Is how does that person deal with it only coming up once a year? I mean,
like if you were Johnny Storm, Fleamon, one day a year.
And then you have to build up the energy to do it in the next year. Yeah.
And the question I would have would be, is it consistent? Like the same day every year? Do you know that it's coming? Can you plan ahead for it? Or does it just happen? Kind of think about like Marvel, like how people get like the Captain Universe power. It's just like, bam, it figures out, it needs to be there. It takes, and embeds itself with somebody. So can you plan for that? Do you know when it's coming? Can you, tailor it to when you want, or at least plan ahead to know? Or is it just bam?
Well, obviously it's not going to be less. It's not going to be less than 364 days.
Right.
So, but it could be more than 360.
Yeah, because you said once a year, so I'm picturing calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be, yeah. I would kind of go quantity over quality on this one. So I'd go mediocre every day, because at least it's something.
Yeah, personally, if I were picking it for myself, that's how I'd go as well. But it's an interesting storytelling device to use that once a year thing. So
I would go with mediocre, because then I could be consistently helping, even if it's just a little bit.
Right.
Yep. And instead of doing one big flashy thing once a year, I could be consistently doing the best that I can every day.
Now you're still above average. You're still above normal, but you're not, because you're still not on that high level that the once a year would give you.
Yeah, so you're a bouncing boy. Yeah, you may not be A level, but you're not an ordinary human either. Obviously, if you can be called a superhero, you're not an ordinary human. And I'd rather be any kind of a superhero than every single day than only once a year. So I'd go with mediocre.
Yep.
So
agreed.
Oh, we're all agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Do superheroes do more good by inspiring people, or more harm by causing millions of dollars in collateral damage?
Yeah, that's the difference between Batman and Superman.
Because, you could inspire all kinds of people, but then if you're pissing an equal amount of people off because you've just destroyed 3 city blocks.
And it's interesting that Superman is. Yeah, let me make an interesting point here, or at least one that just occurred to me. Superman is a very inspiring character, but his really high super abilities make him very, very damaging if there's a super battle in the middle of a city. I mean, if you've seen the most recent Superman film, there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of damage done to the city in the battles that he has, even though he tries to limit the amount of damage that's done. Because he's got such a strong superpower, he does a lot of damage
You
even
could be
though
the
as
rest.
a character he's very inspiring.
You could
And
be the rest
whereas
of the world going, "Oh, but he meant well." But the people that are involved going, "So he just
so I don't
destroyed."
have a car. I don't have a car anymore.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not going to
flat.
be able to get to work. He destroyed a house that I've worked for 30 years to pay for. Yeah, I don't think
Whereas
they
the
would be
worst that
very
would happen
inspired.
with Batman is you've got a villain or some minion with a broken arm, or a few doors get broken or windows get broken, but not a whole city's worth of damage is done. But
So
he's not as individually inspiring good deeds as Superman would be. So yeah, that's kind of a balance there. Yeah. Although I think about Captain America, he's kind of like Batman, except that he's a little more inspiring than Batman is. So, yeah,
So
wow,
my question on this one is, why do we blame the hero for the destruction? So if you've got a villain who's going to take over a city, and you have the hero that comes in to beat the shit out of the villain so he doesn't take over the city, yeah, stuff's going to get broken. All right, it's the bull in the china shop thing. Would you just rather have no hero and have the villains take over everything? Yeah, great. You still have your car and you still have your house, but they're now under the control of the villain who you are now working for or about to be killed by. So I think it's the inspiring. I think they're more important being, with being inspired. I wouldn't necessarily put the damage on their head, because what are they preventing from happening?
Could they actually prevent even more damage? Because a lot of times when the destruction comes, it's coming whether the good guy's there or not.
And sometimes
they're going to come and just destroy things just to destroy things.
And the damage doesn't have to be physical. I mean, just think
about
that too. Think like a Lex Luthor, okay? What he can do, and for a while Luthor was president. So think like a Lex Luthor president, what he can do to a country, a nation, a world. He could F that thing up so bad, worse than trampling some cars and a couple houses here and there. So the damage that could be done could be way larger than a physical battle.
This kind of damage rather than this kind of damage. Yeah.
I have to go with it. I think it's more important to inspire. You have a very good point, John, about it was going to happen anyway. And it's kind of like the same theory as a burglar breaking into your house and you shooting them and then feeling bad that you have taken a human life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's not on you. It was on him for making the choices that he made.
Yes.
So you should not feel guilty.
Agreed.
Even though, it still doesn't stop you from feeling guilt for taking a human life. It's not your fault. He chose to do what he was going to do. So in that regard, a superhero stopping the villain is going to cause collateral damage. Watching, even if the whole world watches, or even if it's just, the country, watching somebody stand up to evil can be more important than broken buildings,
Yep.
Because that teaches everybody that they can also be strong.
And
Rob says, I could do this all day.
Rob said something that popped something into my mind, and Barb, you brought it circled back to it perfectly. Rob, how you had said that Cap, has, and yes, you're absolutely right, has been more influential in a positive way, than a Batman. But I immediately thought about Batman Dark Knight Returns, when you had the mutants, that gang that took over. But then when Bruce Wayne came back, they had a faction of the mutants that said, we're out of here. They created their own gang called the Sons of Batman and started doing good. So he was even, he did wind up inspiring, for people to rise up that way. And so I thought that was really kind of like a cool parallel.
Yeah.
Love that story.
All right. You knew this was coming.
So we kind of all agree it's an inspiration.
Yes.
So, kind of, yeah.
All right. You knew this one was coming. You were warned long in advance.
I warned you.
This was coming because we always touch on this every round robin. It's the infamous bread question. All right. So we've established that a soft taco or a burrito is essentially a sandwich because it's meat between bread, right? Even if the bread is unleavened and flat. What about a crunchy taco?
Yeah, that's corn. It's corn tortilla.
Still, so cornbread is a bread.
And actually, you could have soft shell corn tortillas too.
No, we're talking crunchy taco.
No. I was saying like Rob was saying that it's the crunchy one. I was like,
but I'm sorry. A soft corn tortilla does not appeal to me.
Really?
Crunchy one, yeah. I like essentially having a Dorito around your
So a burrito and a taco in a soft shell we've established is still a sandwich because it's meat between bread.
Yeah, because that's essentially what a sandwich is. The original creation of a sandwich was taking 2 slices of bread, putting meat between it, and eating it. So that's a sandwich. But a crunchy taco.
A crunchy taco, is that a sandwich then? Since it's brother,
Good
soft taco is considered a sandwich. Crunchy taco, this is the big one.
That's a hard one because bread is wheat. True bread is wheat. So we're talking.
So is rye.
Corn. True. Well, it's a grain.
It's a grain.
So is corn.
So is corn. Cornbread.
You're leading me down that path.
This is what I do.
Being a sandwich, you are leading me down the path toward it being a sandwich. I hadn't made up my mind, but I'm beginning to think it is a meat product between a bread, because there is cornbread, which is essentially the same ingredients as in corn tortilla. So perhaps a crunchy taco is a sandwich.
Round robin. I remember she gave great hugs. Woody M says.
That's funny.
So Rob's going to go with a crunchy taco is a sandwich.
Exactly. I think it is a sandwich. Yes.
Yeah, I'll defer to the same thing. It makes sense because
you think so? Okay.
Yeah, because you've got the meat literally sandwiched between. Yeah,
exactly.
But now what about all
the it's more like a hot dog in that it's kind of like a roll because it's not 2 separate pieces. It's like a roll. Because I consider a hot dog a sandwich because it's got bread around a meat product in the middle. So a lobster roll, that's a sandwich. So, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you.
Let
me digress there. Have you ever had my mom made these when I was a kid, and my wife's made them too. So like the hot dogs, and you wrapped them up in like the biscuits that are in those little cans.
Yeah.
And then you put in the oven. Does that become a sandwich?
The pigs in a blanket, we call those. Pigs in a blanket.
It's bread. It's bread around meat.
It's bread around meat. Yep.
Okay.
So it's a sandwich too.
We've
fully enveloped or 2 slices. All right.
We've talked about hot dogs. We've talked about bread bowls. Oh, now we're on to crunchy tacos. Think of it as very, very, very stale bread. Toasted. And then toasted.
Yeah, and I have an aside here when we conquered this.
Okay. So you agree that it's a sandwich, John?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a crunchy sandwich. Okay.
It's a crunchy sandwich on toasted cornmeal bread.
The Native Americans had fry bread, so made out of cornmeal. So that was considered a bread. This is just a very thin version of fry bread.
Been rolled out. Yeah, it's just been rolled out, patted flat, and then fried or heated, roasted.
Right.
So it's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich. We've all established that a crunchy taco is indeed a sandwich. Another major decision in the great bread controversy, sandwich controversy, has been reached.
So I came up with this when you first brought up this idea, and I was walking through the grocery store, and I walked through the frozen section, and one of my favorite treats in the frozen section is 2 cookies with ice cream between it. Is that a sandwich?
It's got to have meat. Although I know they call it an ice cream sandwich.
An ice cream sandwich.
I know. But to me, a sandwich has got something more than a milk product in it.
And that's because it was established by the Earl, after all, because he's the one that asked for it. 2 pieces of bread. So we got
because before that, you ate with your fingers and a knife, more or less. You didn't,
and you would call it food, even if it was cereal. Yeah.
Thanks, Woody. Always glad to hear a discussion about crunchy tacos. You bet. We ask the burning questions of the day.
So I think the ice cream sandwich comes from the idea of something sandwiched between 2 other things.
Yes.
So, is another one would be, is a s'more a sandwich?
I think they're riding the coattails of real food.
Yeah.
And trying to pushing on the notoriety of the name.
Because it's between 2 graham crackers, So is it a sandwich?
And they're delicious.
So, I mean, there's these burning questions come to me.
Is that burning because it's a s'more?
Got it. He got it.
We could go on sandwich. I mean, in the first time we did this, we went on for a good quarter or more of the entire show was dedicated to the hot dogs.
Yes.
Next question.
It was also a heated discussion.
It got very heated. Yes. All righty. Woody, are you ready for the next question? This is a good one. Would you rather fly the Millennium Falcon or the Milano/Benatar?
What's that?
From Guardians of the Galaxy. Their ship is...
okay. Okay.
Woody's ready. You can answer too. Would you rather fly the Millennium Falcon or the ship from the Guardians of the Galaxy, which was originally named the Milano, and then it crashed, and the next one was the Benatar, or vice versa. I can't remember which came first.
Milano.
Having a ship named after a cookie. I mean, that's pretty damn cool.
It was named after Alyssa Milano and Pat
Which is also pretty damn cool.
Yes. All right, Rob.
I would rather have the Millennium Falcon. I think.
Woody says the Millennium Falcon all the way. I've always known about bypassing the input regulator to tune it up. Oh, we have got a true Star Wars fan here.
Well, I still need to figure out how it does that. The Kessel run in however many parsecs. However many parsecs that he says, because a parsec is not a speed; it's a measurement.
They actually in the abysmal,
they do a hand wave.
they addressed it in the abysmally bad, horrifically awful, really, really bad Solo movie. So the Solo.
I remember that one.
Really? I hated that one.
Solo.
That's the one piece of scripture I just want to throw out the window. I'm like, that one's not real. It's like,
I think it should have been. It shouldn't have been Han Solo. I think it should have been a story all its own in the Star Wars universe. I think it would have been a stronger story if they'd done that. But I think that about a lot of stuff. So,
I don't think that the actor was set up for success. I don't think he was the heir to that. And there was a guy actually, Anthony Ingruber, that would have been perfect for it. He had played young Harrison Ford in another movie. He would have been perfect. And then why they didn't pick him is beyond me. But
again, it's like we're having a discussion on another board. They were talking about Wicked, and I'm going, I don't care much for Wicked. I saw it in the theater, and I'm going, it kind of deconstructs The Wizard of Oz. And I think the story that they're trying to tell with Wicked, I sympathize with. But I think using it to deconstruct a beloved movie does a disservice to itself and to that original movie. I think it would have been better if it had been a standalone, maybe even set in the same universe instead of completely disassembling
It takes a lot of the
Wizard
mystery
of
out of
Oz stories.
Frank L. Baum's characters. It kind of takes away from
Yeah.
him.
It completely disassembles and reassembles it as something entirely different, and I didn't think that was necessary. I think you can deconstruct it without completely obliterating it, which is what they did. And also, part of the problem with that was when I went and saw it in the theater, I noticed that I finally noticed the hearing loss I had. I couldn't understand a single word anybody on the stage said, and I didn't understand a single lyric in any of the songs except gravity. That's all I could understand in that one song, just that word gravity. That was it. I couldn't understand anything else in the whole thing.
All right, so you're going with the Millennium Falcon, Rob, and
Yes, ma'am.
so are you, John, right?
Falcon for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to say the same, although with one caveat. I really like the front of the Benatar better because it's got like this dome on the front where you can sit right up there and like you're right out there in the stars.
Well, but you've got that little protrusion that's where everybody sits on the Millennium Falcon, but it's off center. It's off center. It's a
isn't that a gunner?
No, the gunners were on top and bottom.
Yeah, they were on the top and the bottom, whereas that little projection out on that one side, it's asymmetrical. Mm-hmm. Now you don't see as well to the left. I don't know whether that's starboard.
No peripheral vision.
But yeah, your peripheral vision on that one side is limited, but still you've got it's asymmetrical, which I kind of like. Yeah, you're still seeing out the front. But
you want me to go running?
You get a better 180 degree view of what you're driving through in the Benatar. Yeah.
I think the Millennium Falcon is faster though.
That's why I'd like it.
5 past light speed.
Yeah.
That's what they told Obi-Wan.
Okie dokie. Moving on. If you were a character in a comic book, what would your role be?
Natural 20.
As Rob Davis. The what?
Natural 20.
Hit me with your best shot. That's right, Woody.
Yeah. Being smart ass. What would my role if I were a character in a comic book? What would my role be? Making sure I understand the question. What would my role be? The smart ass, not necessarily sidekick, but secondary character.
Snarky sidekick character.
Snarky character. Yeah. I feel that would be a natural position for me.
How about you, John?
I just, when you asked that, I gave myself a title. It's just like the instigator.
Of course you did, because you're John Mytek.
The instigator. I just think that would be so fitting, So maybe the one
instigator. Okay, that's a good
action,
position.
Getting them to see the light, making them realize what they should be doing. I guess that kind of goes along with teaching and learning and helping people realize.
Kind of goes along with being the snarky sidekick too. So
if you got to do it with class and fun, right, Rob? Yeah.
You'd be the one giving out the missions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Giving out the missions. Okay. All right.
I like that.
Oh, that's right.
I would be Alfred Pennyworth, I'm afraid. Because
you would keep everything running. I mean,
yes. I'm a fantastic organizer. Just ask my sister. She goes, if anybody needs a mountain moved, just call Barb. And I do. And I like to keep things organized in the home and running and stuff like that, and cook and stuff. So I think I would be a great Alfred Pennyworth, but I would not be very subservient, I'm afraid. Not in my nature. I would be the snarky butler. So
Alfred Pennyworth is, he's always
he's got some great one-liners.
He's the one that can keep Bruce in his place. Yeah. And he's got the medical training too.
Yes. Jarvis in the Iron Man movies was so snarky. I loved him. All right. Another important one. Is it wrong to wear socks with sandals?
It's wrong to wear sandals.
Okay, John just
sorry. I hate sandals. I hate feet. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a sandal wearer either. But
when you see people wearing socks with sandals, what's your thought? What's your opinion on socks with sandals?
I'm puzzled. Because if you're wearing, socks and sandals just don't go together for me. The only way they work is for like an athlete who has been wearing a certain type of shoe to do their athletic their athletic activity, and then they kick off those shoes and they wear a slide-in type of sandal without taking their socks off. I get that. But someone just walking around doing their day-to-day stuff with sandals on and socks, and I'm going, to my mind, you're wearing sandals to cool your feet. So why did you put a cloth on them? To, I mean,
kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, it defeats the whole purpose. I mean, and if the sandals are rubbing a spot on your foot, get some canvas shoes that breathe and wear those instead. You can wear those with or without socks, but sandals with socks always that seems kind of counterintuitive to me. But I see people do it all the time. So
burning question. Everybody wants to know, John.
But I say no.
Yeah, we already figured out where I stand on the whole sandal and foot thing to begin with. The only thing I could think of, Rob, to answer kind of maybe why they do it is possibly keep the amount of dirt and debris off their feet, like at a minimum.
Then wear a lightweight shoe.
Because it still would be somewhat aerated.
That's what I do.
You've got your socks, and your socks, are woven, but there's still aeration of some sort.
Or get you some of those barefoot shoes. You've seen those, which is essentially just a sole.
I love my high tops
within a sock, but no, I wouldn't wear those either. But I do. I do. When I want to keep my feet cool, I have a pair of canvas shoes that I wear, and sometimes I wear them without socks to keep them even cooler. But of course, you have to wash those after a while. But yeah, I think it's silly to wear socks with sandals.
I just say socks, no socks, ban.
It's an opinion. That's just an opinion. People do it all the time, and it's okay.
If you want to look like a nerd, then I mean, yeah, go for it. As Yoda is wont to say, do or do not. If you're going to wear socks, they go with shoes. If you're going to wear sandals, they go without. That's the whole purpose of sandals. Well, if you're going to wear socks with them, then you might as well just wear the shoe.
Yeah. Now, there are shoes that women wear that are considered sandals that they wear stockings with. That's a little different though, because it still looks like flesh rather than a sock. So, but that's a whole different kind of deal. But now we're talking about flat pair of sandals and wearing like cotton socks with them. That does not compute for me. It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work for me at all. You're not keeping your feet cool by wearing sandals. Then So okay.
All right. Who is more disturbing? Clowns or mimes? Can't have dead air. Come on.
Clowns. I had to, I try to make faces while I'm thinking. So we don't have, of course, for those of you out there that are listening rather than watching, that doesn't help, does it? But no, I think it's clowns. And the reason I say that is that they're using movies and television as a barometer. There are a heck of a lot more evil clowns than there are evil mimes. I can't conjure an evil mime up right offhand. There's probably some out there, but I can think of
Marcel
several
Marceau.
evil
No, he's not evil though.
clowns. You know, there's
They're
what
just
is it?
weird.
So you know, from Stephen King, and there's several others.
Pennywise.
Pennywise, yeah. But yeah, I'm thinking clowns are much more dangerous and horrific than
Disturbing.
mimes are.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
It's more disturbing.
Yeah, more disturbing.
John.
Definitely.
My instinct was mimes. You know.
Really?
Yeah, you know, so when I hear clown, of course my brain goes to Joker, but then I think, you know, like traditional
Bozo.
clown. I'm thinking Bozo, and you know, that was a Chicago classic, you know. Ringling Brothers, you know, you have them out there and they're the fun, you know, the whimsical. So that's your traditional clown. And yeah, you've got things
Ronald
such
McDonald.
Pennywise, one of the greatest movies of all time, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like, I mean, that's good stuff. So yeah, there have been some less than nice clowns for sure, but I mean, like a honk 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 honk, you know, clown on a street, or a like mime on the street. I'm not even getting into French jokes at this point, but you know, it's like, no, the mimes creep me the hell out. So thank you, but no mimes for me.
Well, I have a slight colorophobia, fear of clowns. I don't like clowns. I've never liked clowns. They're first of all, they come across as stupid to me, but I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because they are pandering to the most common denominator as far as humor is concerned. And then
it's lowbrow.
Yeah, very lowbrow. And I don't like lowbrow humor at all. But they're just creepy looking. I mean, and I've never seen any of those movies with like Pennywise and all those. I don't like horror movies. They're just creepy. I don't know. They're disturbing looking. I don't like them. Don't like them. Don't like their humor. Running around bashing each other on the head and like
and 1,000 of them coming out of a small car. Yeah.
Right. One more question for the night.
I like clowns, but I think they're more. I think they are more disturbing than mimes. So yeah. Okay.
All right. One more question for the night, and we'll wrap it up. Should professional wrestling be considered a true sport? True sport?
No, I don't think it's a sport. I think it's it's entertainment. It's theater.
It's scripted entertainment. They know ahead of time who's going to win.
Yeah, generally. Sometimes they go against the script, but generally they know it's entertainment, but it's not a true sport. Now they do have to and as any professional wrestler will tell you, they have to train to do what they do.
And they have to be in shape.
The stunts they have to pull, they have to be in good athletic shape in order to pull those off, and to make it look good. But it's scripted, and it's what I call fake. I mean, as long as, but if you're a viewer going in with the understanding that it's not real, that it's just entertainment, it's kind of like a comic book in that respect, and that's why I think comic book conventions have somehow made that association, because I see a lot of wrestlers at comic book conventions anymore.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah,
sat next to a bunch of them too.
Well, and I went to the Chicago show, and my artist alley table was right next to the ring. No one that came by my table could hear me, and I couldn't hear them because it was so noisy.
I remember that year.
I've sat next to the honky tonk man many times at our local shows, and he's a very interesting guy. A ton of stories.
Yeah.
Really, really nice guy. But John.
No, I agree. they're actors and actresses. They're performing a part. And yes, they work out. They are incredibly trained. They are incredibly buff.
They train like athletes.
Yeah. They train like athletes, just like many actors and actresses have to do for their
action stars. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And the stunts that they're pulling off are like stunt actors. So incredibly trained. They've got the thespian and the physical. Kind of like think about like physical comedy.
It's melodrama. It's melodrama.
Well, like John Ritter, he was great with physical comedy. So now here you have physical acting with the wrestling. So no, I would not say true sport for what we consider, pro wrestling.
It is
the outcome is preordained.
The outcome is preordained. They are paid stuntmen and women. Yes, more or less. So in that respect, it is entertainment only. It is not a sport, as far as I'm concerned. It's never off the top rope. And actually, somebody told me one time, they're very serious about their entertainment too. I mean, to get that blood on their forehead or something, they have glass in their palm,
or little razors, or little pieces of razor that's in their hand. Yeah,
like that. And then they'll take your hand away, and there's blood streaming because they've actually cut themselves.
That's dedication. I mean, that's dedication to a part.
Yeah, but it is not a sport. It is. Nope. It's purely.
It's theater.
It's theater, like kabuki theater.
Mm-hmm.
So theater.
Ooh, I'd never made that association before, Barb, but that's right. It's kabuki? American kabuki theater.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, folks, if you stayed with us this entire time, then you have made it through another episode of Round Robin. And yes, these will continue every time I come up without any plan for a show. Oh, what can I do this week? I've exhausted all my topics. Let's do another Round Robin.
And people like them. We like them too.
We like them too.
Fun.
Next week, however, I have a special guest. John Jackson Miller used to work for the Comics Buyer's Guide and was a comic book analyst, crunched the numbers. And he is also a writer, and he is currently promoting his new Batman novel.
Yeah, I think he's written some Star Trek novels, if I recall correctly.
We'll hit them all.
Some really good ones, by the way.
Yes. We will touch on all of them next week. I will be broadcasting from my sister's basement in Iowa, because I will be back in Iowa.
I am not sure I will be back from what I'm doing that day in time to do the show or not. If I can, I will be here. If not, I will see you the week after. But we'll see what happens.
Yep. Oh, I gotta grab this. So, as we like to say at the end of every stream, make mine Silverline.
Hi, I'm Dave Dorman. Make mine Silverline.